Roll call.
Jim?
Here.
Mark? Gary? Dylan?
Here.
Tim?
Here.
Ellen? Here. Matt?
Here.
Approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, public forum, persons asking to speak to the board, reasonable amount of time, not to exceed 5 minutes. Scott Link.
Right here. I've had a visitor from Kyle. Somebody had made a complaint about my 3 dogs. Yes, I do have 3 dogs, not 4, 3. My kids have autism. Those are therapy dogs for my kids. I'm gonna get the shots in their immunizations and come down here and take care of the tags. So what I'd like to know is, are you gonna allow people here to have 3 dogs?
We have let people in the past keep 3 dogs, especially under circumstances with, you know, like medical stuff and things like that, or, you know, somebody's babysitting a dog for a while and stuff. The ordinance does say that we only allow 2, but we have made exceptions for other people, so I'm assuming.
It's gonna take me a little bit of time to get going with their immunizations and their shots and stuff, because I'm dealing with some financial things as well, but I am gonna take care of it.
Okay,
It's gonna
do you
be
have
done.
any sort of a time frame or anything that you're thinking?
I would say by the end of July, I should have it all done.
Okay, so by the end of July, you'll have her all taken care of?
Yep.
Okay. Does anybody on the board have any problems
No.
with him coming back?
Do we want to table this one for next month then?
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll just postpone this until, can you come back next month and just give us an update at the next board meeting? Would you
Yeah, I
be
can
okay
do
with that?
I can do that.
So we'll
Do I have to
post-
fill
we'll
out
post-
paperwork again for this thing?
You can just come and sign up on the sheet here and then just do it that way.
I got one more thing I also want to talk to you about. I got a person that lives directly across the way from me.
Okay, well, I guess that's something that we can't really talk about because it's not on the agenda.
Okay.
If you want to talk to like myself or one of the board members afterwards about it,
Okay,
we
I'll
can
do
do
that.
it that way.
I'll do that.
All right?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
So real quickly, he is number 4 on machine and garbage and ordinance, so we would just table that portion for next month.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would like you to come back at the next meeting and give us an update on what's going on.
Yeah, I'll do that.
first.
I'll
All
do
right. All right, so the next person would be Nikki.
That's me. I submitted my request for actually the same thing. I have 3 small dogs. I live in the mobile home park. And when I purchased my home in there last summer, I asked the park manager, I have 3 little dogs, is that gonna be okay? And she said, yep, that's perfectly fine. Didn't tell me anything about the ordinance, so I didn't know. I did submit a request for approval from the board for that, and I do have my license applications all submitted to Watoma already. They're just pending your decision.
Okay, so all the immunizations,
Everything was attached, and I did give it to Becky. Becky has all that too.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I guess when we get down to the end here, or down to the machinery, garbage, and ordinance part, we can make a decision on
Okay.
it, all right?
All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Okay, next up would be Dana.
Which one do you want me to talk about?
Well, are you talking about keeping 3 dogs? You have 3 dogs?
I have 3 dogs. I'm requesting permission for that. I have their licenses here. I did have 2 dogs, and then Adam moved in and brought a dog with him. But I also would like to request the consideration of the board to change the ordinance to 3. I've done research. Berlin is 3, Amro is 3, Winnicott is 3, Wild Rose is 3, Ripon is 5, Beaver Dam is 3, and Waupun is 3. Red Granite and Watoma are 2. So I'm just requesting consideration of possibly changing our ordinance.
Okay. We can take that under advisement and talk about it.
And I do have the 3, like I said, and I have their licenses with me to show that they are up to date on everything.
Okay, yeah, you can give all that stuff to,
I went there.
okay, so Becky has all that already?
I don't
I don't
know.
have your licenses.
Okay.
I just.
Yeah, so you can just
Okay.
get that all to Becky and then we'll get that down there again like everybody else, so,
Yeah,
all right? All right, so.
But I did sign the sheet because I wanted to talk about something else. Can I talk
Oh.
about that now or early.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just would like, maybe Kyle or somebody to keep an eye on the parking by BR Diner. I live on Maple Street, and nothing against the diner, but on the side of the building, people are parking, angle parking, and I've witnessed several possible, almost accidents. Becky was mentioning that there should be lines there if there's not, she thought maybe no parking. It is hazardous. People are pulling in and out of there, not realizing that that's a road. And so people that live on there, I actually, for the most part, I'm using the stop signs and going down further because it is dangerous.
Okay. All right. What do you got?
Can I answer your question?
Yes, please.
You're talking between the or the repair station and that?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen there is we're gonna put in parallel to the building parking.
Oh, nice.
Because I have problems in the winter, sometimes I can't get through with the plow truck.
Yeah.
Because everybody's parked that way.
Yeah.
So I already talked to them, they have no problem with that, so
good.
once we start painting in another few weeks, we'll get that done, change that, so there will be lines there, and we'll have to have signs and stuff like that, so Kyle can take care of any violators, okay? So
Okay,
just give us a
thank you.
little
We're gonna
time.
have to get a little bit more strict on these things, because I noticed tonight that there was one of the citizens from the village of Redgranite that was angle parked right over here at the coffee shop where we put the parallel parking, and we're gonna have to start getting on it because we've had a lot of problems over there too, so.
I'm gonna make them bigger, because everybody says it's tough to get in there, but after we get a double chip seal next month, I gotta lay down all new lines, we're just gonna make it bigger and longer, so people can maneuver in there better, but yeah, I know what you're saying. We
All right.
have to put a sign up there, no angle parking, and same with the,
So
okay?
then I believe we have
You're
everybody
welcome.
covered on the public forum. All right, so then we're gonna go to approval of the minutes. Regular board meeting of May 20th, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Reports, clerks, forthcoming events and correspondence.
I don't have anything.
Okay. I don't believe I have anything at the moment, so I do appreciate everybody showing up tonight, though. I like this. This is great, seeing people getting involved. All right, so we're gonna move on to the finance, personal, and insurance billing.
So approval of bills listed for payment and financial reports. We have check 10115024 through 10115037, amount of $8,303.15. Check 62005950 through 62005955, amount of $729.34. Sewer fund, check 6306744 through 6306750, the amount of $1,879.45. ARPA checks, well, this doesn't have checks, but it's the GL numbers, in the amount of I'll get back to that one. Then payroll, check 387 through 443 and 390 through 458, the amount of $44,739.14. Grand total $56,001.08. All right, so we got discuss, consider act on 2024 preliminary.
We gotta
We have to
Motion to
approve.
approve the bills.
Yep.
Motion to approve the bills.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next one, Dylan.
All right, discuss, consider act on 2024 preliminary finance and plan presentation from John Cameron of Ellers, Public Finance Advisors. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did. You did, yeah. Good evening, everybody. I'm John Cameron. I've got a brief presentation to walk through with everybody. Is this good for here or anywhere else you want me?
It should be good there.
All right, sounds good. So in terms of the why are we here this evening? The village has identified potential borrowing needs for 2024 projects, including fire truck and public works garage. In total, from a planning standpoint, looking at $700,000 of capital costs between those two projects. After discussing financing options with the village staff, the village sent an inquiry to 3 local banks as a starting point. Bank First, Farmers and Merchant, and then Associated. So really the purpose of tonight's presentation is to review the bids from the banks, which were received in April, and talk about a process for moving forward. If you go to the next page, in terms of just a summary of the bids, I'm on page 3 of the presentation. Bank First submitted a proposal for 6.15%, and all these are over a 10-year period of time in terms of repayment. And bank fees to close not to exceed $1,500. Farmers and Merchants came back with a interest rate of 3.24%, so significantly less than Bank First, and no bank fees to close, so that's also a positive. Associated did not respond to the inquiry. In terms of the sources and uses on the next page, total amount of the borrowing right now, and again, I know this is still a little bit preliminary, so but looking at $707,500 in total, and that predominantly breaks down between the fire truck at $100,000, the public works garage at $600,000, and then our fee at $7,500. So what we want to talk about just is, assuming you move forward with Farmers and Merchant as the bank, what might that look like in terms of the principal and interest payments over that 10-year period of time, and how does it affect the property tax levy and then your overall general obligation borrowing capacity? Because a debt issue like this is considered a general obligation promissory note of the village, and it would account against your overall general obligation debt capacity. Every municipality across the state of Wisconsin is limited in terms of their general obligation debt capacity, and that limit is no more than 5% of your total equalized value. So as you look at it, we'll talk about just kind of where this puts you if you were to move forward with the borrowing in the context of your existing debt in that 5% limit. If you look at the next page, and again, please feel free to stop me as we go. If you have questions, I'm certainly meant to be informal in nature in terms of responding to questions as we go, but I'm happy to respond afterwards too. On page 6, in terms of the levy impact, so to walk from left to right on this page, the left-hand side shows your existing debt. So it starts with your net debt service levy, which for 2024 is $61,530. Next year it goes $61,060, stays at that level, and then in 2027 your debt starts to drop, and then in 2028, assuming you take on no new debt, you'd have no existing general obligation debt. The next column just shows the change from prior year, and then the column after that is your current and then projected equalized value on a TID out basis with just under a 2% growth rate factor, assuming your growth rate from an equalized value standpoint grows at about 2% a year. So the tax rate is the net debt service divided by your TID out equalized value, expressed in terms of a tax rate per thousand of value. So right now, your tax rate for debt on an equalized value is $1.19 per thousand. So if you think about that per 100,000 of value, that equates to $118.79. So if you had a property valued at $100,000, in your tax bill, $119.79 would go to pay debt. And that stays relatively stable out through 2027, where it drops and then falls off. So this debt service, the way that we've got it structured is to really wrap around your existing debt to try to keep the levy for debt as stable as possible, knowing there still will be some impact because you do have debt that is outstanding for a few years before it falls off entirely. So the principal and interest payments, the estimated principal and interest payments starting in 2025. That's that first column in salmon, I guess I'll call it, is $30,564, and it goes to $38,000. Then it starts to ramp up to $85,000, really taking the place of your existing debt so that it keeps the tax levy as stable as possible over time, and then goes up to just over $100,000 and stays around that level out through 2034. And then after that, it's fully retired and paid back. So the debt levy goes from $61,530 in 2024 to $91,624 in 2025, and stays right around there, being plus or minus 100,000, goes up a little bit higher and then starts to come back down in 2031. So there is a $30,000 increase to the tax levy between 2024 and 2025. But the way that the debt is structured is that then stays very stable, right around, again, $100,000. So if you were to think about this again in the context of, $100,000 property, goes from a tax rate of $1.19 a thousand to $1.74 a thousand, or an increase of $58 on the property tax bill from 2024 to 2025. The difference, when you look at 26 and beyond, that's the difference between not issuing any new debt and the new debt that you're talking about issuing. So in total, over a 10-year period of time, the taxpayer with a property valued at $100,000 would pay $1,466 over that 10-year stretch for the repayment of this debt. So I'll kind of pause right there. Any questions on this or anything I can help
How
answer?
close are we to our percentages? Is like 50% of our value for this note?
In terms of your debt capacity?
Yes.
That's on the next page here. So I can show you that in a second. Any questions on just the repayment structure before we move on? Okay, great segue. On to the next page. In terms of your debt limit, that 5%, if you look at page 7, you've got your TID-in value of 60 in 2023. So at the end of last year, 66.69 million in terms of total value. So 5% of that, you had a debt limit of 3.3 million. Assuming a 2% growth rate factor for 2024, you'd have debt limit of 3.4 million. At the end of 2024, you'll have general obligation debt outstanding at $1,576,000. So you'll be at just under 50% of your limit. You'll be at 46%. And the final equalized value numbers come out at the beginning of August. So if you come in, say, better than 2% growth, you'll actually be less than 46%. If you really have no growth or less than 2%, you'll be right around 46 or a little higher, closer to 50%. Taking out this issue will put you at 66 or 67% of your limit with residual capacity, a little over $1 million. And if you look at that last column in terms of residual capacity, the last two columns, that'll show you the percent of the limit after the issuance is taken out, and then it shows it over time. So as you pay off your existing principal on your existing debt, and if you assume that you're going to grow at 2% a year in terms of equalized value growth, you get back to 50% within a couple of years. By 2026, you're back at 50%. So it goes down pretty quickly. And if you come in with anything higher than a 2% growth rate, that also works to your benefit.
Okay, well, there's other projects we got coming up. We're gonna have to decide whether we wanna jump on the bandwagon and get it done right away, or wait and take out another loan in 2 years. So that's our decision we're gonna have to talk about.
Sure, yeah, and that's all, part of good planning, and certainly as you have those other projects that come up, my colleague Brian Raymer, who's normally at these meetings, and us can certainly help, put a plan together as, at least look at it and say, okay, this is what it does to your debt limit.
Yeah, we might have to revisit that.
If you look at the last page, and then happy to turn it back over and answer any other questions, in terms of conclusions, I think really kind of the direction, or, what we're really looking for this evening is, number one, just realize that you've got to kind of finalize your project needs in terms of total costs. But based on the bids from the banks, the interest rate from farmers and merchant, I realize it is a little bit dated now, it's from April. But the interest rate from farmers and merchants is an extremely attractive interest rate, roughly half of what you were offered by Bank First. So would certainly be an advantageous interest rate to move forward with if they're still willing to offer that. Even if they're close to that, that's really a very attractive interest rate compared to where interest rates are out in the open market and just what we're seeing from other banks and other municipalities. So I think the direction tonight, if you're comfortable with it, is to give staff the ability to go back to farmers and merchant to say we'd like to move forward with you in terms of this financing, and then bring back the actual documents for approval at a subsequent meeting.
So farmers and merchants offering the 3.24, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
So wouldn't and correct me if I'm wrong, wouldn't that 6.12, no, that's payback, okay, never mind.
That's the interest rate on the payback,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Yeah, so quite a bit less than the other bank,
Yes.
yeah. Any questions or anything
Excellent.
else
Nope.
that we can help with?
No, I'm satisfied with it.
Yes, very good.
I do appreciate your time, sir.
You bet.
Do you have any other questions for us, or?
No, I think is what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is what I'm hearing that we've got kind of want to move forward with farmers and merchants at this point? or-
We're going to sit down and we're gonna make some final decisions, probably the beginning of this next month, because we're gonna sit down and have a budget meeting and go through all our numbers and see where we are. But yes, it is something that we're considering moving forward with, so
Okay,
So we want to table this for next meeting, right?
probably, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we want to confirm the interest rate. So,
Yep. So, yeah, we'll probably have to bring it up at the next meeting to do the finalization.
my recommendation then, knowing that's the case, would be to at least give staff the ability to go back to farmers and merchant and at least indicate that, we'd like to,
Yeah, I know.
most like, you're the selected bank, we'd like to move forward with you. We're working on finalizing our budget numbers and the actual amount we want to borrow, but given that the interest rate, proposal came in April, can we just confirm the
Yeah,
current
I'll
interest
talk to
rate?
him, because I know most of them
Okay.
over there, so.
Fair enough.
So I can get a hold of them, I bank there too, so.
Okay,
So we still have to, we'll do the motion to approve at least locking in, right?
The rate, or, well, we're gonna have to make sure that we got the rate
Yeah.
first, so. I
Alright.
guess right now, let's just postpone it until the next meeting, and we'll do all of that, all the,
Okay.
we
All right.
had a special meeting.
we might have to, but.
Yeah.
Anybody have any other questions? Okay.
thank you,
sir.
have a good night.
Thanks.
Yeah, take care.
All right, consider act on approving of hiring Krista Erdman for the full-time deputy clerk position.
I'll make a motion for the approval of hiring Krista Erdman for the full-time deputy clerk.
I'll second that.
Before we vote on that, I just want to make it known that Krista Erdman is my sister, and I did not vote on this. I stepped away from the whole thing so that there's nobody thinking that I did anything influential here. The only thing I did was I did give her a good word, because she does work for me too, so I did put in at least a good word for her, but I had nothing to do with her being hired here at the village, okay?
Blame it on me.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Consider act on approval of WMCA annual conference August 28th through 30th of 2024, registration cost to be determined.
Who's gonna go?
I don't have those, the dates. Oh, I lied. It's August 28th through the 30th. And it is in Madison. So if with the hiring of Krista, it might be beneficial if we both went. I don't know right now how much the cost is.
I think that's a good idea.
Is this the one that we were talking to that fellow about, that you can go through and pick the courses you wanna?
No, that's the symposium, that's in September, and that's Cassell.
Oh, okay.
So I'm very interested in that one, and that one's in the Dells. It's just September 12th, 13th, so it's just one night. But that was the one Chad from Cassell recommended.
Okay, and this one here is what exactly again?
The Wisconsin Municipal.
Municipalities
Yeah,
conference.
Conference Association, whatever.
And we don't have an idea what it's gonna cost yet?
Not yet. As of today, I didn't see to look to see if the fees were up.
If I'm not mistaken.
How soon you gotta
I
have the
think it was
registration in?
284.
You think it was,
I think it was around 284 when I looked at the magazine, and it was just in there in May.
The early bird registration is July 1st. Deadline.
Oh,
So I'd have to do it soon, but.
so can we make a motion to approve this and maybe set a limit at like $300 for the time being and?
Well,
That's
I think
Times
we're
two.
gonna have to do more than that because we'll have to pay for hotel mileage and all that.
Well, that we can do
Yeah.
at the
Okay.
next meeting, but at least this way she can,
Is that the current municipality you've got there?
June, yeah.
Well, I'll motion to approve it.
Second,
Are we setting a limit on the money for right now, or?
we can't do that without.
Yeah, I don't think we
knowing how
should.
much is,
I think this is a big thing and having, with Krista being new, working with Becky, going into this, I think this would be a good idea. I think we'd find out how to pay for it.
So
I think
then,
these seminars are very important for the workers to go to.
I made a couple of them last year and I thought they were great. They were
I
very
did too.
beneficial, and that one that Becky and I went to, there was so much information there to try and gather. It was nuts. I mean, there was no
That's
way you could
true.
possibly
That's
do it
the
all.
fall one, right?
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I learned a lot of stuff and it was something. I enjoyed it. I mean, it really helped me out a lot.
first and second on the floor.
Okay, so what, I guess, what was the motion then?
Motion to approve them going,
Okay, and,
no cap.
okay,
Well, within reason.
Okay.
Sorry.
all right, and who seconded
I
it?
did.
You did? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Who
Okay,
seconded?
Matt, or Tim did, sorry.
Oh, set date and time for meeting to review budgets for 2024.
We were talking about doing that in July because Mary said that she figured she could have everything back up to snuff by then. What should we do, first week or second week of July?
Sooner the better.
Let's do it the second week.
Yeah.
I'm shutting down my plant the first week, so. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
around
that's
as little as
basically the
possible.
4th.
Yeah, well, you can do it the 8th, 9th.
If we can have it pulled together. by then.
4th of July
2 weeks
weekend.
of June. 1 week, 2 weeks. That'll only be 2 weeks. Could we go the 3rd?
That's gonna be the week of
Board
the meeting and
meeting.
everything, so.
So 8, 9, 10.
So yeah, we're gonna have to do it that second week if possible.
All right, she's not gonna wanna do Monday because you're coming off a holiday weekend. Wednesday the 10th maybe?
Let's shoot
That
for
would be
it.
11th.
Let's shoot for Wednesday the 10th. And if we need to make changes, we can always change it. What time we talking, 5, 6?
Whatever.
Probably should go 6 so that everyone can be here.
Okay, so 6 o'clock, we're gonna do the budget meeting.
Yep, on the 10th.
Everybody's got that, Jim, Kyle, Brent?
I possibly will be in Minnesota the week, if it's like right
Unacceptable.
after.
All these excuses.
Yeah, so
I never go anywhere. Coming for me, we've been gone.
we'll be in Minnesota after the 4th that week.
Okay. Well,
We'll figure it out.
yeah, we can maybe do something ahead of time with them or something
Yeah,
like that.
just do a separate
Can I
separate
lift
water
the
one.
tent at 6 PM? I'm just gonna let you know that it'll be longer than that before I get stuff straightened out. We just got one item straightened out today.
We're gonna do the best we
I can't
can.
answer all your questions at the budget.
We all know that we're kinda in a mess here
Okay.
because of everything that's been going on. Mary has been really helping out a lot here to try and get things together. And she told me personally that she thought that she could have things somewhat together by the end of this month. And we'll have the new deputy clerk stepping in to start getting her trained. So this will probably be a good thing for her too, to learn how this is all gonna work. So let's just do the best we can and see where we're at and try and get through this as best we can. So we are set for the 10th at 6 PM.
Yes.
All right. All right, so we're gonna move on to the library. Jeannie, monthly update.
We got a lot of shelves recently, so that's going to be a big job that we'll be working on. Our summer reading program has started, and that's gone off really well, so encourage people to come and participate in that. I know there's lots more, I'm just tired, but we're still up as a top contender, as number 1 in our circulation and in our attendance. Our market is going well. We got rained out the first 2 weekends. Last weekend went well. Even though we share with Ashley, people walk back and forth, so it seems to be okay. And I guess that's it for now.
How many people volunteered to help with the shelving?
Oh, there were about 14 people
Nice.
that showed, and it wasn't just people from the village, it was people from the townships and stuff too. so.
Nice. So if any, maybe we'll put that out, make volunteers somehow.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a list. Our board is meeting on Thursday,
Yeah.
so we'll have a list that,
Okay.
so we have thank you notes on
All good then? All right. Consider act on approval of Mary, how do we pronounce that? Wyack?
Yes.
Okay. As village representative for the library board.
Make a motion to approve Mary as a village
I
representative.
will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Machinery garbage ordinances. Gary has not, or is not here tonight because he has some back problems. So Matt, you want to take that one, please?
Got an update for us, Jim?
Pardon me?
Got an update for machinery garbage?
With garbage, we just finished large item pickup, and it was an extreme amount this year. And we filled 2 30-yard dumpsters and a couple of our dumpsters, our monthly dumpster. There's just a lot of everything. And it was good because a lot of people were cleaning out. And I was glad to see that they were cleaning out the garages, they're cleaning around their houses. And I didn't say no to some stuff, so we just took it, except for, what we can't do. But, they asked me, can we put more out? I says, throw all you want out there, we'll take care of it. And all the wood that we have, that goes to our burn pile, so we don't have to pay for that up there, so. It was a lot. It took us quite a while to get it done. We finished up on the following Monday, and hopefully everybody's happy.
It's good to hear.
All right, consider act on approval of a quote for repairing the dump box on the orange utility truck in the amount of $6,500.
Okay, so you have 2 estimates here, one from FutureWorks and one from Retzloff. Retzloff, if anyone doesn't know, is in Auroraville. And so FutureWorks came out, and this is the quote they could give me. And with that quote, they says as they find more areas to repair, the cost will go up. So after he left, I took a ball peen hammer and just tapped around, and I found about 10 holes. So that cost is gonna go up probably in 7,000, okay? Greg Retzloff, I just got off the phone with him 2 minutes, or about a minute before I came here, and I confirmed, I says, now, I says, I figured about $6,500 is what it's gonna cost. He says, I'll probably even do it for less than that, or for 65, no matter how much I find that I have to repair. He will take care of it, he says. I will not go over that 6,500 regardless. As far as the quality of the paint, the sandblast and everything is the same. I had Jim look up at that box, and whether, I think once the Ram is paid for, that's what we're gonna go after, is another different plow truck. That box won't last that long if you don't do anything to it. And if it does, when you go to sell it, you'll get your money back out of it just by selling it, because it looks nice. Everybody buys on looks, right? If that truck looks nice, they're gonna buy it. If it looks like a rusted junk, they won't, even though the chassis is in good shape, so.
Retzlaff is painting the rims too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and he's got sandblast just the outside of the frame and the rims and the box, and that's for $6,500. Only thing I have to do is pull the mud flaps off and then pull one wheel off the duals. That's it, and take it to them in about 2 weeks. So it's up to you if this is something you think we should do, which I do think we should do it. But if you don't, just need approval, yes or no, that's it. If it's not, then we'll just deal with what we have.
Is he cutting the metal off to that side, where them holes are?
Where the holes, he'll cut a patch just to fit.
Oh, he's gonna patch it?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, underneath, there's holes, and he'll probably just put a patch over it, but on the side, you won't even know that he repaired it.
Yeah, we went out and looked at it really close, and the cost of a new box is way above anything.
Well, the stainless steel box for that Ram 5500 was 11 grand.
Yeah,
So for a steel box, you're probably talking 18 to 20,000 for that box. And if we can get it done for that 6,500 and get it through another 3 years or 2 years, I guess that's up to the board.
I'll make a motion, we have Retzloff do this.
Yeah, before we do that, do we know where the money's coming from?
I don't see, that's another thing we haven't gotten through yet, how much money I have in my equipment fund. It can come out of our street outlay, our state aid money. I can take it out of that, because that's a truck that's used on the road, and that money can be used for that.
All right.
Until we figure out what's going on with what I have left for money.
Yeah,
Okay.
other stuff.
Yep, I'll
So
second
that-
it.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
All right,
Thank you.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, discuss, consider, act on leaf and large item pickup for future years.
Okay, it's like we're on the merry-go-round when you go pick up. So what I'm proposing is that what's put on the board and what's on the website and, what's here is that's the week that everyone puts their stuff out. I come back the next week and I pick it up, because once I pick it up, we mark it off, and if somebody puts out after that, Kyle takes care of it, because all I do is, like, for large item, especially brush, somebody put like 2 pieces out, so we pick it up. We go by the next day, and they got another 2 pieces, and you go by 2 days later, and they got another 2 pieces. And same with large item. Unless they come and talk to me and say, hey, this day I can do it, or I got more, is that okay? No problem, but.
Would you consider if they come and got turned in a slip saying, hey, this is my pickup, so you don't have to drive around and try to find them?
No,
No?
because I go in the morning when I get here and I make a list, so us guys, when they go out, we know exactly where everything is. I have a list. All I want is that when it's large item pickup, leaf pickup, it's different, because people, there's so many leaves, that doesn't matter, but leaf and brush pickup, what's posted is when the residents put it out. I come the following week and pick it up, because anything that gets put out afterwards isn't getting picked up, because that house number is checked off on my list.
Okay.
And that way it's done, because I will go around this, all I do is wear out tires, is all I do, because you go back to the same place 2-3 times during that week. So,
How much of this comes out, how much money do you think comes out of your budget to do the big
I have a
stuff pickup?
spreadsheet that I can give you that information in October.
Okay, is this maybe worthwhile having a second one in the fall?
I do not want to do that, because we have to pay for the dumpsters, which is like $400 or $500, and then we pay what, $35 a ton. So that's why I try to throw the wood in our pile out there to burn, so we can get more in there, you know, not pay for the weight of the wood. And it's expensive, because we go through about 2 tanks of fuel on the tractor, and I already talked to Jim about tires on the tractor, because the front ones are right down to the casing already. And all we do is drive around, drive around, drive around, drive around.
What happens is people put stuff out in the middle of July, middle of August, they expect Public Works to come pick it up. Then we tell them, no, that's your responsibility to dispose of it. We do cleanup once a year. Any other time, that's your responsibility to haul it out to the dump or find someone to haul it to the dump or take it over to the landfill. So then we get on them for that, and then they get upset because they pay all these taxes and nothing gets done. No, they're supposed to put it out when it's listed, and they do it all year long and expect that we picked up, or they stick it in a garbage can and then the garbage man will pick it up. And that's their responsibility to get rid of it then.
People call me, you know, hey, I got this, no problem, just call me. You know, any time of the year, hey, I got this problem, whatever, yeah, no problem, we'll take care of it. There's storm, brush and leaves always will be twice a year. And whenever a storm goes through, when I see people lay stuff out, after I know a storm went through, I just go pick it up. Because, you know, what are they gonna do with it? The storm went through, we're gonna take care of that. But that's all I'm saying for brush and that, is like once, when we have them, dates set for brush and large item, that's the week that the residents are gonna set it out, and I come the following week and pick it up and check it off. And that's it, I'm done.
I like that idea, it gives everybody that week to prep.
Yeah, that week is when, and we'll have it on the website, that is the week that the residents will be setting out whatever we're picking up. And then I will be coming out the next week and we'll have it in that, anything set out after that, I pick it up, that's it, it's on you. Does that sound fair?
Let's
Save
put on
us a
one
lot
week.
of-
That's
a
how
lot of
everybody
time
else
and
does
and
it,
some
I
money.
mean,
A lot of the stuff they will accept out at the dump, they'll accept appliances, furniture, but they'll leave it out to the curbside and expect those guys to pick it up.
And
I
people-
tell them no.
Yep, and any electronics like TVs or any window air conditioners, you have to take window air
Highway
conditioners.
department.
Highway department, I don't know what window air conditioners that they'll take it out, because that's got Freon in it, so you have to take it to the highway department. Right to the highway department, and then they'll take care, and you have to pay for getting rid of
disposal.
that. Yeah.
Well, there is a company right out of Oshkosh does a very good job according to their rating, which is 5-star. And you can order your own tanks to throw it in, and they'll come back and get it, or if you want them to clean out your garage, they do it. Sounds like they're pretty good and they're supposed to be reasonable, so.
Otherwise, I see there's enough people on Facebook that, hey, you got some odd jobs, I'll haul this to the dump. That's what you gotta do. Is you gotta contact those people, have them haul it. Or I give them the card for truck and junk, call them up and have them know the things they don't wanna pay for it. They want the village to pay for it. I said, no, that's your responsibility.
So it would save Public Works a ton of time, and like I said, and probably a tank of fuel, and a lot of wear on the tires. So,
Motion to approve.
Second.
thank you.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Go
All
ahead.
right, consider act on approval of additional dogs for Scott Link, Nikki Masco, and Dana Sluggo.
So, motion to approve Nikki and Dana's now and table Scott's for next month.
Second that.
As long as all the paperwork is turned in and all of that stuff, which you said you were gonna all
Becky
take
has
care
all
of.
my stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I have Nikki's, I just, all my copies right here. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, municipal buildings, there's nothing. Parks.
Not yet, there is.
Parks and Cemetery, Ellen.
Monthly update.
So I have the Redgranite Finance working on this. We've been having damages down on our new picnic tables on at Vets Park. I went down there probably a week or so ago, a couple weeks ago, and somebody took, chalk, big chalks, and just colored all the tops of all the tables. And I found the stash finally where they had it hid and got rid of it. But we caught them on camera, I should say. Brent went down and found them on camera. And what it was is a mother talking on her phone and while her kids were coloring all over the table, and they're from what, Minnesota?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, Minnesota. So I guess then they have the license plate number. So tomorrow I'm gonna go down with a pressure cleaner we just purchased. And somebody went tic-tac-toe with black magic marker, which I'll have to get something else to take care of that. I'm gonna power wash the floor and the picnic tables. And one of the two handicap tables that they have a donation plaque on, somebody took and whatever, just kept beating on it, smashing it, so I guess I'll have to talk to Mary and see if she wants to replace it. I tell everyone that wants to put a plaque on there, whether it's at the Memorial Island or where, it's a crapshoot if it's gonna make it through or not, and they understand. So I'm gonna take care of that tomorrow if I can, okay? And just deal with that, and Bree and Kyle are working on what we've seen on camera, right, Kyle? Thank you.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Every single table's got chalk on it.
Yeah, yeah. And I thought about putting a chalkboard up there, but they'll probably rip that off from the wall and then still write on it, you know. So that's all I have for parks. Oh, another thing is that of course, you know how I am about parks. So I had the parks all soil tested to see what they're deficient on. And that's doing really well. It just needs some potash and just our regular maintenance that we've been doing to it. Willow Park is needs about 2 tons of lime to an acre. And it needs it needs 10 pounds needs about 150 pounds of potash per acre that I had. So, and Willow, actually, east side is good on lime, but it's deficient on everything else. So it's going to be baby steps to try to bring this stuff back where it needs to be. Vets is there. I just got to put a little potash on it. But Willow, we'll just probably do half the lime this year, half next year. Just try to get the stuff back so maybe it doesn't look like a desert out there in some areas.
What's our capabilities with spreading equipment?
I need a pull behind spreader because I bring mine from home and it's a piece of junk.
I suggest you get a quote on that.
It is about $1,100 for one. That's a commercial that I can pull behind the mower.
Yeah, something that's gonna last.
But we're gonna talk about all the stuff that we talked about, Ellen and Gary and I, and so maybe I'll ask for that when we talk about that, okay?
All right.
So I will say, driving past gardens, somebody's got some big plants in there already, so.
The garden beds, we got 14 of them filled. We had to go fill another one last week because somebody, but and whether you agree with it or not, the employees, if they wanted one, I let them have one. But there's people that wanted a box, bought another one and gave it away. We had 3 people that did that. So it's three people got 3 boxes. So we got 14 filled. There's 16 out there, and we got 19 totally built. And I'm hoping we can fill 19 next year. That'd be great because everybody's doing a great job taking care of their stuff, and it really looks nice out there. So. And I filled the water tank today because some kid went out there and opened the valve and drained all the water out of it, so I got that filled
I
today.
wonder who that would have done.
So that's all I have for monthly update.
Thanks.
Consider act on quote for roof replacement of Veterans Park Shelter House for SPS roofing systems in the amount of $10,000.
So I want to start off thanking Ellen and Gary. We spent about 4 hours, 2 meetings out there. And they were very patient, and they listened to what I had to say, and they seen what the problem was. So thank you, Ellen, for coming out there and taking the time and spending it with me to look over everything.
Anytime.
Because I think my model is showing better than telling. So that way, now everybody, you've seen it, and now with that, I'll let you talk about it.
Well, I got a question for you, Jim.
Yes.
Why do we want to put a flat roof on there? Can't we do the rafters and steel
How much do you want to spend on it though?
Well, how much you
That's
think it
the
might
thing.
cost, that's the
That-
thing.
That flat roof is, I mean, I didn't know that there was anything wrong with it until I went up with him and he showed me.
Mhm.
And the reason why it is what it is because where the power comes into the top of the building, the guy that roofed it originally put the wrong boot on it. And all the water leaked in. You look at it, you can't see it until he showed me, see where this is? Oh, yeah. So he has the wrong boot on. That's what destroyed what Ellen's gonna talk about.
Mhm.
Okay?
All right.
So Ellen, if you could tell the board what we talked about, what you've seen yourself, please, on the shelter.
Okay, on the shelter, the cement around it is got big cracks in it. In some areas, there's actually holes starting that if somebody caught their sandal or their shoe on it, they would actually fall. And if there's people that fall because of a faulty cement, the village could have worse problems with lawsuits, etc., depending on how bad somebody was hurt. So that needs to be done in Veterans and also at Willow Creek. Then in the shelter house at Veterans, it's actually to the point, it has large cracks, some of them probably almost an inch
So you
in
just,
the brick wall, and you can
stand in the bathroom and
actually,
see right outside, right?
Yeah.
And some of them are tipped on top.
so the walls need to be stabilized as well. And there's so this project is gonna cost a little bit more. I know there's monies left in ARPA, and I would like to see that the money to fix the shelters and the cement work, and the new counter in Veterans, in the kitchen,
Plus,
use
it needs all new doors.
yes, and all
that
doors.
on the bottom. And we won't even talk about the toilets and everything inside, because won't be enough money for all that. And we do not have a wheelchair accessible bathroom. In vets, we have the picnic tables, but not bathroom. So,
And that's pretty tight quarters, and
yeah, it's tight quarters. I plan on painting that, make it brighter, and, fixing some of that stuff up. But the main thing is that when that water leaked through the roof, we stood on it, and it was just like a sponge. And it dripped down into the blocks, and freezing and thawing and popped the blocks out, and some of them on top are tipped, either in or out, I don't remember. But you have cracks in there this long, and Ellen was in there, she goes, I can see right outside. So there's a structural issue with that building. And with the concrete, whoever poured the concrete didn't make any cut lines for breakage. They just poured it all flat, so wherever it broke, it just broke wherever it wanted to. And now you got it mismatched like this, so now you have a trip hazard.
Yeah, I understand, we gotta replace all the concrete, we went and looked at it. What are you gonna do to correct the south side of the wall that's pulling
I
away?
have no estimates on. It's tough to find somebody that'll come in. We had our barn straightened a year ago. I have a guy there I can call, because what's gonna have to happen, I'm sure he's gonna have to run a bolt through there, and then he's gonna have to draw everything together, is what he's gonna have to
And
do.
then
to
tuck
bring it.
point it? Yeah,
Tuck point it, so it's tough to find somebody. And if anybody's know somebody, let me know, that does that type of work.
also the paint is starting to peel really
Oh,
bad.
yes.
It's going to have to be painted. Since we did meet, I talked to a couple people in the community, and they suggested maybe we could get the high school seniors from the art department and their instructor that could do some painting and possibly even some design work in it that would
They want to paint
replicate.
the building? I mean, because the whole building needs to be repainted even over the murals, because,
Well, we'd have to decide what we want to do for sure.
yeah.
Like maybe paint 3 walls a nice color, and put a fresh mural on it, and then it would be nice to keep some of the history in the park.
Okay,
And
well,
if these, and a lot of these students have gotten awards this spring for,
So basically, we're going for a fresh look, right?
right,
So we'll have to paint the whole building, and then the wall that they want to do murals, whatever background paint they want, I'll paint that.
Right.
And then if they want to participate in painting, great.
some, maybe we can chip in and get them free lunch and,
well, if they can, we can volunteer to paint, it's not hard to
Right.
pick up a brush. We're gonna have to coordinate this, taking out the sidewalk around the building, getting the structure jacked up, bolted together, and then tuck pointed. And then pouring the new concrete, and then getting it painted. And then fixing, well, the new roof would be coming
Painting would be
after.
the last thing.
Yeah,
And
So-
the first thing above all, the roof, because that's what's causing all the damage. Now, this last rain that we had, if you go by the woman's bathroom to the left,
Yeah.
all the blocks were wet. So,
are we gonna be able to adjust the frame with a new roof on it and not have any problems?
Just gonna ask the same question,
Yeah.
are we gonna have issues?
there's no adjusting, there's just pulling it back together. There's no jacking up or anything like that. It's just the blocks underneath the I-beam that they're kicking out. And they're cracks, so they just have to run something in there like they did on our, on barns and stuff. And they, like a large bolt that hooks, and then they just draw it all in. That's all they do.
All right,
It's
so
not gonna make any, because it's rubber roof, so
Yeah.
there's flexibility there. That shouldn't be a problem.
we're gonna need to get that person or whoever's gonna be able to do that.
You have the quote in front of you?
Is that got that on there for pulling the wall together?
No, just for the roof.
Yeah, that's the only thing I need.
And that guy, and the east side part, all the fascia is rotted off in the shelter. And I went down with Nick Thomas, who bid it on this job. He says you need all new fascia, and he recommends wrapping it with aluminum. And he says you get the materials and his team, take them a day and they'll do it for free.
So you're gonna put boards up and put new fascia aluminum on?
Yeah, they'll do that for free. Them guys will tear it off and put it on for nothing.
Okay, well, our priority right now is veterans.
Huh?
Our priority is veterans. Are we gonna be able to coordinate that concrete pour between the two, Willow Creek and
Yeah,
veterans?
that concrete doesn't have anything to do with the roof or
No,
anything.
yep.
Okay, so there's a quote for that also, which is down on number whatever here.
Mm-hmm.
So I recommend, I know you have two quotes. The roof is old, and that part still needs repair, the other part, but that would be $5,000 to do half of it. I just recommend doing it all, and it's done for years and done correctly. The damage that it did it ends up costing thousands and thousands of dollars because it was done wrong. And just to do half of it, the other half will fail too later on, so.
it also has a 20-year labor and material warranty.
Jim, you got your Phelps concrete
No, not yet. We're not.
bid here for the parks?
Didn't I give it to you?
Yeah, it says Willow Creek Park. What's 63 foot long though? Is that just,
You have Willow Park and you have Vets Park.
yeah,
So what is your question?
it says 63 foot by 4 foot.
Yeah, because where we have to cut it, you just don't cut it by the crack because the whole panel's tipped.
Oh, I
So
thought
we have
we
to
did.
find a straight, I think I showed Ellen and Gary exactly how, and they agreed where it should be cut. So that's just the slab on each part that needs to be cut out and replaced.
All right.
So let's go back to the roof real quick before we move on to the concrete. That's a separate item. So on the roof here, I do like the 20-year labor and warranty on it, material warranty. There's a lot of good stuff. Looks like heat roll seams. Again, I'll ask a question like I did earlier. Do we know where we're going to put the funding from this? Or do we want to look at, I know you mentioned ARPA. Do we want to approve this and then figure out where the funding is coming from and then approve the funding, or?
I gave a sheet to him, there's 18,000 in ARPA
Okay.
after the 6,000 that for him for his camera.
All right.
So I just gave that, Julie figured that out tonight when I gave it to Jim, so. Because I know you were talking about park equipment before and to use that for, and that's why I had it tabled and had a meeting.
So are we good with this coming out of ARPA? So a motion to approve the new roof?
Second.
The complete roof.
Yes, the full 10,000 quote.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Consider act on approval of Phelps Construction LLC for concrete construction for sidewalks on Thackeray Street and concrete repair at Veterans and Willow Park.
Okay, Jim? Sidewalks coming out of the sidewalks. Where's the two park ones coming out of?
Where's what, the two parks?
Yeah,
On ARPA.
okay. Just
Because
because
you remember you wanted park equipment and I tabled it?
Yeah.
So everything that we discussed, and that was gonna come out of ARPA, so everything that we're discussing tonight, instead of that, I want to have the shelters fixed out of that ARPA money,
Yeah,
If we
okay?
don't have decent shelters, people
Well, I
aren't
mean,
gonna
it's
wanna
just-
go down there
we're getting
either.
pretty close, so.
Yeah. This will be a big step forward, and, I mean, this fall I'll be completely done with all the trees and the topsoiling and vets. And the next focus is, we got some with Willow done, and that's on aim for after this year.
And I agree with this. Last year, when you drove past the parks, you would always see kids here and there around them, but if you drive past them now, the parks are full every weekend.
Good.
I drove past, and there was probably 10, 20 kids playing the other day when I drove past,
The
so.
guys aren't real happy with me because they have to mow twice a week now, Mondays and Fridays, so.
Tell them, well,
I says, I don't care, I says, it's gotta look like it's like a fresh haircut, you know, all week, so.
All right, so we're going to, what we're asking right now is to approve the two parks, the concrete work.
So motion to approve.
And then are we approving
The sidewalk.
the sidewalk?
Yeah, that should have been put on sidewalks, it got put on here, so we might as well discuss it, because there's nothing, I don't think, on sidewalks, did I see that right? No, not for sidewalks.
So we need to approve them to do the sidewalks on Thackeray.
So I had the county bidding, it was like $31 or $30 a running foot, and he quoted this at $25 a running foot. And the reason is not the labor's any cheaper, is that being a concrete contractor, he gets at a less cost, probably like $25 a yard. When any municipalities, they put the shaft to the end. So the county does not get any discounts where a contractor does. And I don't know if Jim talked about, Mr. Phelps is looking to start a business here. Industrial park, I'm gonna get that mowed tomorrow so he can come back with other plans that he has, which is, I feel is very promising here. So, as far as that goes, he beat the county because of the discount, so.
Okay,
he's very
so
professional.
we're gonna have to make it like two motions on this so that this is separated out, I
Yeah.
believe, because we're asking to do the concrete work at Vets and Willow out of ARPA, correct?
That is correct, and the other one would be.
And the other one is going to be our sidewalk fund.
That would be my-
So we're gonna need two separate motions for this.
Can we do it under one motion, just two? Okay, so a motion to approve the concrete work for Vet Park and Willow Creek
And the money's coming out.
4,500.
out of ARPA.
Okay.
Second that motion.
Wait, did I say that right?
Yep.
Yes.
You did
Okay.
okay.
Okay, boy, I have issues some days. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And the other part, we'll wait till we
So,
get the
motion to
sidewalks.
approve the Thackeray Street concrete installation.
Did you want to wait till we get the sidewalks?
Just do it now.
You wanna
And
do it
it's
now?
not on the
It's not on
sidewalks, it's got listed underneath,
Shoot.
underneath that, so if you wanna wait and do that at
Kinda
sidewalks,
came in
you
as
can, or
one-
take care of it now.
one bid.
It's on there, so I'd say let's do it here. So motion to approve that.
Second that.
And the funding was coming from,
We have a $7,500 sidewalk budget,
okay,
plus we have $10,000 paid in from last year's. So that'll be, and 2,000 of that goes to Safe Step for preventing trip hazards on Bannerman or 21, whatever you want to call it. And so so it'd be $15,000 we can go forward with the sidewalk. So that should finish Tack Creek, jump across the other side. Okay?
All
So
right.
I need a motion to approve, you seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So that's gonna leave the ARPA funds at 4,100 left.
We got 118,000 in it?
Did you want me, I'll get
This
estimates
is what the
for
balance
next
is, this is
meeting.
the police camera stuff, which left at,
Okay,
that's
got
the
it.
roof.
And I'll find somebody to fix the block on it and get an estimate on doors. And the countertop, probably countertop before doors.
What kind of doors are you putting in, Jim, fiberglass?
I don't know, they're steel, I assume putting steel back in, huh? Fiberglass, do you know what they can do? They can smash it right through.
Okay, well,
That's what I'm worried about.
we have to worry about the steel rusting again too, though, so.
Yeah, but I'll be dead by then, so I'm not.
There you go, we won't worry about it.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, discuss and consider act on use of, well, I guess we've kind of done that already.
Yeah, that's right.
Consider act on approval of estimate for TN Land Surveying LLC to survey the quarry in the amount from $800 to $1,500.
Motion so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Do you wanna contact him, or you want me to contact him?
I can.
Okay. So do it.
They'll do.
As soon as possible, even though I see he's got July on there, late July.
All right, we're moving on to police and fire. Mr. Hager, Tim.
We need a monthly update. Oh, the Redgranite Fire District.
We're running about 185 calls at this point for the year, so we're still running better than one call a day. We'll probably hit 500 again by the end of the year. The two new trucks are actually in production. The engine, which is affecting you guys most, they're saying 10 to 11 weeks. So that'll be done in the end of August, the beginning of September. And obviously, we have to pay for it before they'll give it to us. So just FYI, that's coming up. The EMS truck is in production, but they won't tell us when they're gonna have it done. But they're both actually starting on. So we should have them both this fall.
Good to hear.
How did the hose testing go?
Hose testing was done last Monday or 2 weeks ago on Monday, and we blew one section of LDH that's 20-some years old. It's $900 piece of hose. We're gonna have to get a new one. And everything else tested good. A lot of our hose is 40 years old, so it all tested good this year, but it may not test good next year. And NFPA says it's way past its life expectancy.
So that's something we might have to look at too. Extra funding
At
for
some point,
hose.
it's gonna come up. I mean, at some point, stuff's gonna start to fail faster
Well-
or more.
So I don't want you guys pulling hose at a fire and have the hose blow up.
Yeah, it might not be a bad idea to start working with the other municipalities and try to get this on everybody's radar now.
Well, we're doing other stuff too, but I mean, if we're gonna go for funding, maybe we could kick a little bit in to have them buy numerous pieces of hose that our percentage would cover, so they can get it done.
All right.
Because like I said, I don't want them pulling up to a fire and have a hose blow out. It's a big problem. Especially if the guys are inside the building. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay. There's nothing else then, right? Nothing else?
For us, no,
Yeah,
not
okay,
that
good.
we're aware of. I mean, all our radios were rebuilt this summer. We put up all new antennas, all new coax, that's all been redone in the firehouse. We got a new channel added for the fire department specifically. All of that's been paid for mostly by the firemen. We're doing 2 fundraisers, one in June and one in August. Again, that's gonna be earmarked towards getting stuff for the new engine. You know, because when we went to you guys, all we wanted to do to pay for was the truck. But the new engine has 6-inch intakes, the old one has 4s. So we're gonna have to get all kinds of adapters and fittings and things to make the hose work with the new truck. But we're working on all that at this point. now that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, we can actually start ordering things. We're going to the fire chief's convention this weekend. All the vendors will be there. Hopefully we can bend arms and get better pricing on some stuff, because we kind of have a list of what we need. But we're seeing the end of it. The engine will be here in September. Darley is cranking these engines out. They're mass producing them. So they're saying 10 to 11 weeks. They're pretty confident on that schedule.
Good.
So they'll get that out. We will have that by September.
Excellent.
So you're gonna want your money by September for the new truck?
August possibly. It depends upon where they're saying 10 weeks, and they contacted us a week ago. So plotting it out on the calendar, I think that's the last week of August. So yeah, we're gonna need to have the funds to pay for the truck.
So we're either gonna take out a loan or we're gonna go through the sewer and water budget, so that's what we already decided on.
We
But
already
it'll-
took that
Yes.
money, so.
Yeah, and it's sitting there waiting.
Yeah,
So we got the truck covered one way or the other, so.
yep.
Okay, well, let's do the monthly update. Chief Kyle Tar, you ready to go?
What's number one? I don't have an agenda.
Consider act on approval of police security trailer at the quarry and trailer startup, cement pad, and funding.
So on this one, the sun pad and funding are being held, my company's gonna take care of that.
Yeah, Matt's gonna do that,
On
yeah.
Jim's parks budget.
What park budget?
Or not?
Oh, it's not mowing, not up at Quarry.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
It is too.
Measured out the area we're gonna put the security trailer. We've got the initial programming done, and then we have to do some updates with it with Jason, our IT. Matt Zilke is going to pour a concrete pad for it. He has estimates for the costs. Matt's also fabricating, has purchased steel fabricated protective caging over the solar panels, so juveniles cannot throw rocks on top of solar panels and break them. Also included was extra concrete poured so that there's availability to place 2 porta potties up next to the security trailer. Then there's just enough concrete left that Matt's gonna form a box for people to put their charcoal briquettes in when they're done grilling, so they just don't dump them in the woods or in the garbage to start a fire. Matt is donating all of his time and pouring. The only thing that he would request is, and Dylan's graciously accepted to cover the costs for the cement, the steel, some of the hardware, and then we just have to look at fencing. We have to look at what's out there for fencing, what we ought to get for fencing. Matt will install it, so that's yet to be determined. So right now the running total is $1,182.18. That's for the hardware from Tractor Supply, the steel for the protective cover, and the concrete, about $600. We have to look at the fencing cost to add in there, so once I figure out what we're gonna do for fencing, we'll have another meeting and approve all that stuff.
One question.
No.
So how many yards is that this pour?
4.25 yards,
Okay. 'Cause
and 144 per yard.
That's 144 per yard.
That's what it says here in the quote.
He gets a
Charge me
discount.
200.
He gets a discount as contractor.
You gotta know right-
Well, it's a 4-yard minimum, that's all I'm asking. If you wanted to wait until we, what did you say?
You gotta know the right people.
Until we, you know, when we pour sidewalks, then they could pour that at the same time to save money.
He's looking at doing it, he was gonna do it either this week or next week, so he's gotta work it in between his regular job time. What do we got next?
Closing a municipal court.
Municipal court is now closed. There should be a purchase order up there for the remaining balance of $1,400 and some odd dollars. I gave that to Becky for your approval. So she can, I guess you guys normally pay it anyway, but if you want to make the approval to pay that final invoice from municipal court, and then we're getting, what was the last email, Becky? It was $100 and some dollars. They got some late payments.
I don't know off the top of my head what the exact amount was.
Yeah, we're getting some late, they got some late payments in that they collected before court closed, so they're gonna be sending that to us, so. I guess I just need a motion to approve the
Closing out?
balance of the, you guys should have it in your packet though, because I can.
Yeah, it was like $1,400 and some dollars.
$1,400 some dollars, yes.
Make a motion to close out the municipal court by paying the remainder of the dues.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Sure, I'm glad we're on.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Should've got them years ago.
Consider act on approval of revenue expense report of municipal court.
That was included in your packet, so it
Yeah.
kind of tells you what we ended up with at the end, the closing of the municipal court. So, they are paying us, we owe them $1,454.72. We are getting back from them $3,361.46. So,
Why don't they just subtract it out of there and write one check?
It's too hard.
that's, government has to be difficult in order to make it work, so.
One thing, is everybody in favor of the way we're doing that cement pad up there with Matt donating his time and
We'll figure some out kind of.
Dylan taking care of that?
I think some.
Well,
kind of
yeah, because
recognition
otherwise
for
it'd be
that.
twice the cost.
Okay, I get that, but I'm just saying we should probably make a motion and that's how we're doing this, because we didn't do that on that part.
All right, motion to approve the process of putting the cement pad for the trailer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Consider act on approval of department policy for the use of the bolo wrap.
So I borrowed about 2 minutes, kind of tweaked it a little bit. I did the bowler training, received the bowler wraps in April. In April, we did the training, Green Honorable certified instructors. So when Matt finishes his classes at the end of September, we'll have to put him through the class. We'll share a bowler for now, but then the first of the year, my budget for next year, I want to purchase another one for him. So that is the policy that will go into the department policy manual for the use of the bowler wrap. Also includes a reporting form where this will be a use of force form with a taser or arrest that they would have to complete the use of the bowler wrap, and it would go in with the reports. So I just need approval for that for part of the department policy.
I like that form. I think that was a good idea. All right, motion to approve the policy for the bowler wraps.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So real
Opposed?
quickly, if you guys had an opportunity to look through this, it does say where not to use them and everything, so it kind of does spell out a lot in
Yeah.
this, so.
Yep, I read it.
It is still the first non-lethal choice, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Should be the last, I would hope.
No,
Unless you get somebody that's on drugs so bad they don't know how to follow directions.
Well, we found it, we had one incident a couple of years ago when we had Carter here, the person was high on PCP, and he gave them drive stuns and it didn't affect him. As a matter of fact, when he got the ropes stuck in him, he took the wires and took his mouth and bit him. And it was still ground wrestling with Carter, so he did drive stuns with him and it didn't affect him. So what the bowler wrap does is it wraps cord around them, and then we can either shoot for the legs to keep them from running, or we can shoot from like mid-torso down to their waist to keep their arms in. If it locks their arms in, they can't fight as much. We can assist them to the ground, effectively place them in handcuff restraints or belly chains or wherever we need to get control of them. So it's better than going hands-on. It saves officers having to ground fight people, especially if you get extra people there to use the BOLA, and that effectively takes away their arms for fighting, and you can follow up with a taser if necessary. So that's it. No, it's very low. Right, Jackie?
Yes, it is.
All right, let's move on.
Consider act on approval of access body cameras, docking station mounts, and redaction software, storage from Advatech in the amount of $14,247.10.
So we talked to Chris, our salesperson. That was a camera that we decided to go with. They did bring a demo model up and had 3 cameras for us to use in demo. The demo period's ending. He would like to have the cameras back. He really doesn't want to take them back because he's got them all set up here. So we did apply for the CERT grant, which is the Small Communities, Rural, and Tribal law enforcement grant, the amount of $10,000. We were supposed to hear something in May. We haven't heard anything in May because Congress is dragging their feet. They're hoping to have something to us by August. It sounds like because we're so small and financially strapped, it sounds like we're a good shoe-in for it. Thing is, we won't get the money until probably August, September at the latest. I would imagine September because they'll want to close out fiscally. So in order to keep what we have, we were relying on the in-kind money of $6,000 from ARPA. So with the $6,000 for ARPA, the balance being left $8,600 roughly, I'd like to take and use the money that we're getting paid from the prison for providing services to the prison. As of right now, we have about $15,000 that we've received from the state for our services at the prison. So we're using part of that money to cover our expenses for the vests that aren't covered by, or bulletproof vests that aren't covered by the federal government. And I'd like to use the $8,600 out of that money then to fund the purchase of the body cameras and all the equipment. The equipment also includes storage, for storing that stuff in the cloud. Right now we're using iCrime Fighter to store all of our evidence. That runs us about $1,000 a year. I think it's 13 or 14 or maybe a little bit more for Adventech. But then with having another officer on, it'll be over that. So next year it'll be a wash. We just won't renew our storage with iCrime Fighter. We'll go all with Adventech. Everything will be in one location. I want to work with him too about possibly updating our squad cameras because we're having issues with one of them now and I'm not getting any satisfaction from Spillman or from Motorola. So your approval, I'd like to take $6,000 out of ARPA plus the other $8,600 from what we bring in from the prison to cover the costs. And there is a purchase order I gave to Becky for that amount.
That was already budgeted into ARPA, right?
Yeah, we already took care of that this spring, about the $6,000.
All right, motion to approve Kyle's plan.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Discussion of Memorial Weekend.
It was relatively quiet. We only had a few incidents. Matt rode along for that weekend, learned a lot. He actually applied a lot of what he learned in school. I let him kind of handle some things. I was really impressed about what he did. So it was a good weekend. Not as busy as I expected, but that's okay. Of course, a little chilly at LaCory, so there wasn't much going on up there. So it was a good weekend. I don't know if anybody had any complaints or anything, but it seemed to be a relatively quiet weekend, so we'll take it.
Not a complaint, but I did get to witness Matt doing a discussion with a resident, and he did a good job at moving them over to a place where they can have their alcoholic beverage. And I think that was a good way he handled it.
Good.
Well.
Good.
I like how we handled the quarry. We walked around everywhere and watched people.
All right.
Sorry.
Discussion on completed training and reimbursement for the state for training costs.
Submitted our reimbursement from the state for training and standards. I believe this year we were getting $230 for training. So we've sent that into the state and we're waiting for that money to come back in. They kind of warned us to hurry up and get it in because first come, first served, and if you wait too long, there might not be any money left. So I got it in right away, so hopefully we should get that, I would say, at least by first part of July.
What are we gonna do here?
All right, thank you, Kyle. Okay, so sewer water, normally Mark or Gary would be doing this, but neither one are here tonight, so I will take over. Monthly update, please.
The month of May, we've been working on getting all our water meters changed out for the year. We have agreed with the DNR to do 10% of our water meters, so that's 40 a year. And we're currently at, well, we were at 35, now we're at 37, so we only have 3 more to do. We're still waiting on, hear back from a couple people to get theirs changed out. And as for the whole cellular, or the whole system, we're at 50% done with switching them over to cellular. And We'd just like to let all those customers know that are switched over to cellular, that they could come into Village Hall and get a printout of how to sign up for an app, Eye on Water, and that'll actually allow the customer to track their own usage and then see what their average is, and they can actually get notifications sent to their phone or their email, and then tell them if they're over their usage or if they have a leak or 24 use or water running for 24 hours. So if they want, they can stop down at the Village Hall and grab one from Becky. We emptied the self-clarifier and inspected the seals that we replaced last year on that self-clarifier. Drained it all out, and all the seals still look good, and we actually started filling that back up today, and we changed the rubber on the skimmer arms, and we're getting that filled back up as we speak. And then completing our monthly backup generator test on well 1, we found that the battery was getting, or the battery was weak, and it was actually getting overcharged, so we changed out the trickle charger and replaced the battery on that Kohler generator. And that's all I have for project updates.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, consider act on approval of resolution 2024-03 for annual CMAR compliance maintenance annual report.
We're required by the DNR to bring to the board this CMAR. It's an annual report card, kind of shows the board what we're doing at the plant, where we were the whole last year. And on page 26, you can flip to that, there you can see we had a GPA. They give letter grades for your influent, BOD, TSS, phosphorus, all the stuff that we're trying to maintain our limits at. And we have a GPA of 4.0, so that's great. Also on page 17, it shows our capital replacement fund, and that we designated monies to go into that capital replacement fund. That is currently at $649,354.94. Last year we took 19 from there and used that to replace the weirs on the clarifier. And then also down below it shows you like the other projects that we have planned for the future. And in there you also see that there's a chance with the new permit, with the new phosphorus limit coming, that there is a good chance that we'd be having to do a big plant upgrade depending on our limits and our ability to meet that low phosphorus limit. And then are replacing the flow meters we have in there, but that we already had approved, and that should be getting done here in the next week or two. So it just gives you a rundown that of what we have for future projects and planning, and that we're actually designating money set aside every year for that replacement fund. And then there's that chart on the way back. The red line is the design flow, and then the blue line is our average trend line, and then you can see our actual flows that are the blue diamonds. So you can see we're below 50% of what our actual design flow is. So we do have room for growth. And yeah, we just need you to approve this CMAR so we can get that resolution number, and I can get that turned into the DNR.
I'll make a motion to approve the report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
It's looking good.
Thank you.
All right, consider act on approval of quote from B&M Technical Service and Inc. for a replacement pump for the lift station in the amount of $6,456.
That is just not a replacement pump, but replacing the current pump that's in the lift station. Our Twin Pines lift station has two pumps, a newer Shimeiwa and an original Flight. The lift station was built in 2000, which is about 24 years old now, so that we'd like to replace that original Flight pump with the Shimeiwa that matches, because currently there are two different size pumps. So we'd like to actually get two identical pumps in the lift station like how all our other lift stations are. And the Flight, we're actually having, we had to jump and bypass the seal failed and the temp failed on the pump because we were getting call outs on it. So it's running fine, it's keeping up with demand, but it's on its way out it's got high amp draws and higher than designed amp draws. So we're just wanting to get that replaced before we have an emergency call out on it, and that would also qualify to come out of that replacement fund. So
Yeah.
the capital replacement fund.
I'll make a motion to purchase the pump.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, streets, sidewalks, ditches, Matt.
Jim, we got any updates on street and sidewalks?
I pretty much told you on the streets what's going on, or, I'm sorry. Yes, on streets, where's my, here, that's what I'm looking for. On streets, Bridge Lane is completed, they came last week and shouldered it. The only thing I have to do is I'm gonna get a load of recycled blacktop and finish out feathering in the driveways, and then it'll be completed. And then we're just waiting for the bill. And when that comes, then they have to have a copy of the bill, a copy of the payment of the bill, and the article that was in the newspaper, and which I have, and Becky gave to me. Thank you, Becky. So when that comes, that's what has to be done. I have to give that to the commissioner, and then he sends it in, and then we'll get our $1,500 or our $15,000.
Awesome.
Thanks, Jim. Consider act on approval of a quote for ditch cleaning between Main Street and Orange Street in the amount of $1,800, assuming that's that L-shaped one over there?
Yeah, residents have been telling me, and I have seen it, that when we get a heavy rain, it's over the banks because there's so much vegetation and silt in there, and I don't think it hasn't been cleaned for years. And I had some questions, and I went out and I called him, and he answered my questions, so I'm okay with this price. It has to be done with a mini excavator. That's the reason why I had to have Corey Wagner do it, or get a bid from him. Not everybody excavator has a mini excavator, so he's just, 5 miles or 10 miles down the road, so it has to be done with a mini excavator, and we have to haul out the spoils. So,
He might be delayed a little bit, I just hired him to tear up some Dolly's parking lot this morning.
I don't like you. Anyways,
It's okay, there's a
Well, he's not gonna use a mini excavator.
All right, so.
So I'm just asking if that's okay. It has to be cleaned out. Actually, the whole ditch needs to be cleaned out, but I didn't have it on my budget this year. But since it's a problem with the residents, with excessive rain, I feel like we need to do something about that.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the
Second.
ditch cleaning for $1,800.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, miscellaneous business. Consider act on approval of application for liquor, beer, wine licenses effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve the applications.
Becky, you went through them all?
Yes.
Okay. Second.
All in favor?
Businesses.
Aye.
Opposed? Consider act on approval of applications for the sale of cigarettes and electronic vaping devices effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consider act on approval of applications or for operator's license effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Discuss, consider act on policy rules for village board located on E and double E.
Billboard.
Oh, billboard, sorry.
I had read that a couple of times prior to that and was like, what the?
Yeah, what it is we have a board out there on E and double E right there at the
Sewer plant?
yeah, right by the sewer plant. And supposedly, years ago, it was put up there. Actually, Kyle, you know a little bit more about it.
Well, back when the village started annexing, we started growing, Village Economic Development Committee paid for it and put it up. And what they did, what I remember is it was for local businesses to advertise. And they charged them, it ended in 75, it was either 175 or 275. I believe they had Bob Mattice paint the signs, Snipe hung them up, and then as time went on, as businesses closed, they took them down. And the money that they collected was supposed to be earmarked into a fund for that sign, so if you have to replace boards, needs to be painted, there was money in a fund to take care of that. And nothing's been done to it, and to my understanding, a local resident lives outside the village, posted up a banner on the sign out there without getting permission from the village. I don't know if he got permission from a village employee or a village board member, but to my knowledge, we had to pay to have the ability to put that sign up there. So I don't know exactly what the policy is, it was early in the 2000s when it was originally set. So I don't know where it's probably buried somewhere in the back.
Yeah, and so we gotta figure out what we wanna do with this, because there's been businesses that are asking to put a sign up there. And I think it's a good idea, I think it's something that we should continue, but I don't have a clue how the policy was set up, and I don't know where to find it. So we either need to figure out how to find this or
Make it up.
come up with our own.
Obviously, you want it to come before the board.
Well, it's gonna have to come
Yeah,
before
we
the
don't want
board.
an individual making their own mind up.
But
so.
it was also designed for village businesses, but I guess they
There
did
were
make
people that were
exceptions
outside of the village that wanted to
for
put
like
their
Pearl
sign.
Lake and so on and so forth.
Pine River and stuff in the village said no.
So-
Campgrounds.
I think it's a good idea, I think it's something that we should continue, and I actually have a couple ideas that I would like to maybe entertain down the road once we get this figured out and see what we're gonna do with this, as far as maybe putting up a couple extra signs, and like that one out there could be used for businesses that are going that way. And if we're gonna promote village businesses, I would like them to be maybe on both ends of 21 as you're coming in and out of town. I think it would make more sense because there'd be a lot more traffic.
Well, I think there used to be one that, I remember Luff's had the boat repair thing on it.
Well, and I've thought about maybe even thinking about, you know, doing like an electronic one or something where we could actually let people put a business, I mean, then you could do multiple type businesses on it or something, like where our thing for putting up the pickups and all that kind of stuff.
Gene checked a digital type thing for the library, wasn't it something like 44,000?
Yeah, I know, I'm getting
It was
to it.
about 34, 3 years ago, now it's about 40.
Yeah, but like I said, this is an idea that I'm just entertaining, like I said, this is something for a later date. But we gotta figure out what we're gonna do with that one out there, because it is kinda in rough shape. And there are people that have signs up there, and like I said, there are people coming and putting stuff up. What would
Who
you
owns the
like?
sign?
The
Huh?
village does.
So it's my responsibility.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's been your.
Thanks for the car.
We'll comply with
I
that.
didn't know.
So-
I didn't know anything about it if somebody put it up
It's
or
on
what.
sewer property, so I.
So I guess
Well, I think we have to table it to figure out what we wanna
Yeah.
do, number one, and where the funds, if there are any funds
There should be,
available.
there should be some funds around someplace, I would think, but where?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be.
So we're looking at tying up some plywood and bolts and nuts right now and
Yeah.
painting it up.
And I mean, if we wanna set up some rules as far as like the size of the sign and things that can go on it, they could get their own sign made.
Yeah.
We would just charge them X amount to put the sign up there, because Jim or whoever would have to actually put the sign up.
So does this need to go in the signs ordinance?
Probably.
Probably, yeah.
All right, then, yeah, I think we should brainstorm, come up with some ideas and get it in the ordinance.
Let's throw it all in that one meeting.
So we'll postpone this till the next meeting then?
Either that
Or
or budget
what do you-
meeting.
Yeah, we can talk about
That
it
or
then.
even
Yeah, we gotta get
August.
moving on that sooner than later anyway, because we're running into the prime construction season.
Our meeting is like.
So are we postponing to the next meeting then?
Yes.
And we're gonna, okay. All right, so then items to be placed on the next board meeting agenda.
See how close we're cutting it, because that 4th of July. And then,
Anybody have anything?
I'm sure there'll be something for the quarry, but
Well, there's gonna be a bunch of stuff. I'm just asking, is there anything from tonight that needs to be placed on there? Anybody have anything?
Scott makes approval
for the dogs.
I'll try to get through this video.
or update, yep.
Yep.
Well, just in case, let's put it on the agenda, worst case scenario, we.
Well, that's what I'd like him to do, so. All right, so anything else?
the shelter house on East Side Park, possibly work on that.
Get back to sensors, don't worry about that.
Yes, we'll do that, but I mean, it's, get it in the progression here.
What about the change in the ordinance for the dogs?
We'll have to get the ordinance and look at it and just see. It's a little bit of a
You want
process,
approved, though.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little bit of a process, and we're right in the process of doing all these ordinances right now too. We just got done sending out our kind of finalized thing right now, so it goes to this legal company. They go over everything that we went through, and then they'll send it back, and if there's anything that they think we need to change or whatever, we'll get one more chance to go over everything. So it's something that we could possibly have done yet this year, but it takes a little bit, so.
Okay.
All right? Everybody good? All right,
Make a
go ahead.
motion to adjourn.
Well, hold on, so I think in July, we need to come up with a date and time for the economic committee. I'm asking not to do it today, just because I just got back and I got a lot of stuff going on,
Well-
so wait till the July board meeting and have that on
And
there.
then
Seven.
have it
Okay, and
set.
I also would like to get a chairperson picked for the Corey committee, so that they can give the monthly updates. So at the next Corey committee meeting, we're gonna do that,
It's all
so,
underneath the parks with.
yeah.
And we
yeah.
also have a cookout coming up on the 12th, so that's
It's
coming up
Jim's
pretty quick.
responsibility now again too, right?
All right, so all in favor
When is the
of
next-
adjournment?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. It is
Whatever it is.
8:12.
Look, if we're gonna take money out, I don't like taking money out, but if we gotta take it out, we're gonna cover the cost of it. We gotta cover the cost of it.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're gonna have a talk with you.